A major part of California Governor Gavin Newsom's No Secret Police Act has been struck down. A federal judge ruled Monday that the state cannot ban federal agents from wearing masks during ICE operations. Here with more is the Hills Courts and legal reporter, Zach Schoenfeld. Hey, Zach, so tell us what this ruling means for immigration officers in California.
Hey, Drew, this ruling now slams the brakes on efforts by California Democrats to require federal law enforcement agents to wear face masks. This is an effort that we saw the California legislature push back last fall after President Trump, of course, sent in a surge of immigration enforcement resources into Los Angeles in particular last summer. This was one of several bills that we saw California Democrats respond to in an attempt to push back on the Trump administration. And one of the main points of this legislation was this requirement that all federal law enforcement agents would be required would be blocked rather from wearing face masks while they're conducting operations. This law had been on hold as this court case had been ongoing, but now with this ruling on hand from Judge Christina Snyder, an appointee of Bill Clinton over in California, this law is the brakes are slammed, and this law, at least as of now, is not going to move forward.
So, Zach, one interesting thing here is in the wake of this ruling, you have both Governor Newsom and Attorney General Pam Bondi touting it as a victory. Make sense for me.
Yeah, you can look at different parts of this ruling, and depending on what side of the case you're on, some parts of this are wins for both sides of the case, because we've been talking about so far the face mask aspect of that, and that is where the Justice Department has won, in which California has been told it cannot ban these federal agents from wearing face masks. But that wasn't the only part of this lawsuit. There was another part responding to another California law that would require federal agents to also have identification badges on them. That in this ruling is not being struck down here. So it's a bit of a mixed ruling. Parts of this ruling are a win for California. Parts of this ruling are a win for the Justice Department. And that is why you are seeing after these rulings, both sides attempting to declare victory.
On that issue of having identification, the Trump administration is asking the judge to come back and block that. What is the latest there, and what can we see moving forward?
It's possible that this won't be the end of the road. And to explain why, let me give a little bit more of the legal background of this case. At the core of the argument from the Justice Department when they filed this lawsuit over California's laws is this is a federalism issue. They say that California is effectively restraining and impeding federal immigration enforcement efforts in the state. And they say that that violates the Constitution's Supremacy Clause. When the judge struck down that requirement for face masks, that ruling was based in the fact that that law applied to local California law enforcement, your city and county police and law enforcement agents. It applied to the federal government, your federal ICE agents, all of that. But it did not apply to state officers, that level in the middle. So actually, the basis of the judge's ruling here is saying that requirement was actually treating and discriminating against federal agents and treating them differently than California state law enforcement agents. You compare that to the identification requirement, which applied evenly to local, state, and federal authorities. So it's a bit of a different picture there. That's why the judge ruled differently. But now, Drew, the question is going to become, will California Democrats go back to the drawing board and rewrite this law in a way that might be upheld in the future?
Zach, while we have you here, I want to mine your brain for other cases regarding immigration policy that you're following and that we should be looking forward to as well.
Yeah, in addition to all the cases that are going through the court system, what I'm really watching this week is actually what's going on Capitol Hill, because a lot of these stuff that we've been talking about agents' tactics, use of face masks, identification, these are a very similar list of demands that we're seeing Democrats make on Capitol Hill in these negotiations over government funding. And of course, this court case is all about state versus federal issues. And the judge's ruling here is based in the fact saying that California was essentially restraining the federal government. However, if it is Congress being the one to act and actually putting in federal law saying that ICE agents can't wear face masks and all of these issues of federalism and the Supremacy Clause and state versus federal, that doesn't matter. So no matter what happens with this lawsuit, keep an eye on Capitol Hill and to what happens in these negotiations.
All caught up in that funding fight set to come to a head this week. So we'll continue to follow. But for now, we'll leave it at that. Zach Schoenfeld, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Drew.